Hey Graham,
Hi mate.
how's things?
I'm very well, yourself?
Good, yeah, really good, thank you. We'll start with injuries. Any positive news at all?
No, not really. Just been really frustrating, really. Look, I think it's important to possibly clear it up, really, because it's there's injury after injury and knocks after knocks, and 1 week somebody's fit and 1 week he's not. So I think what's important for me, and I've actually just wrote it down so it's clear for everyone to see. So look, the likes of Miller, Westbrook, Ravenhill, Lavery, very unlikely we're going to see them the rest of this season. Richard Wood is possibly going to be about 3 weeks, as is Adam Long, Louis Marsh and Bobby Faulkner. James Maxwell is going to need an operation, which will probably keep him out for about 3 or 4 weeks. John Taylor is on the way back to recovery. We're hoping to have him at some point in January. And we've had a couple of knocks from the previous game, which has not helped us either. And a couple of players that I would probably rather not mention at this point will miss Saturday's game. So 12 out. But it is what it is. This group has been really strong and robust over the last 19 games with 11 wins. I think in the last 10 games we're in the top 7 of the form table. So I'm pleased with the group. They're working hard. Needs must at times, and they're having to go game after game after game. So I know for a fact once players start coming back, like I said, that the likes of Woody, Lungy, Marshy, Faulkner, these types, John Taylor, we're only going to get stronger.
I can see why you needed to write that down, Graham. Fair enough. In terms of your planning for January, I was just wondering how the injury situation was affecting that. Are you kind of having to come up with multiple options depending on who's available? You're having to look to potentially do more business. Just how is the injury situation affecting your planning for what you could do next month?
It is definitely at the front of our thoughts and thinking. Particularly now that we've had an injury to Cian. Previously I wasn't thinking about midfield. I thought we were quite strong in that area, although we've been using Owen Bailey as a centre half with the injuries of Bobby Faulkner, Richard Wood, Adam Long, for example. We felt we're strong, but maybe that's an area now that we might be looking. The forward area I've already mentioned that we need to strengthen in that because of Rio Griffiths leaving, George Miller possibly not seeing him again till next season. Caelan Lavery won't play again this season, so that's definitely an area that we will be looking to strengthen, and possibly at defensive area as well. To make us more stronger, robust in that area. So there's areas that we, like I said to you all the time, Adam. Lee Glover, Cops, myself, Cliff, the analyst department. We've been working very hard since the last window shut to make sure that once this window opens that we're going to act and we're going to be strong and we're going to be going after our targets as quickly as we can. So I'm looking forward to meeting David and Gavin tomorrow to sit down and go through the list of targets that we have and can we go and try and get them in.
Are you hopeful that you'll get the answers you want out of that meeting and that you'll be able to bring people in, because there's quite a shopping list there that you've described?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, look, it's we feel like we're getting better all the time. Like I mentioned to you, I think it was clear to see that we started very, very slowly in the season. The first win came at Forest Green, but since the game at Forest Green, we've been really, really competitive. In the games that we've. In those 13 league games, I think off the top of my head, I think we won 7 of them since Forest Green. Drew 1 and lost 5. 3 of those games we lost at Stockport by the odd goal here in the top 5 of the league. Barrow by the odd goal in the top 5 of the league. And I think there's one more in there. I can't remember who it was. It was another team in the top 5. So we know we're not far away from being a really good team in this division. I think we are a good team, but I mean a team that can challenge towards the top end of that division. So we may be a couple of players back from injury away from being that. We may be 1 or 2 or maybe 3 bodies coming in January away from that. But all the time we're looking to progress, not stand still, get better, and hopefully we can be really competitive come the second half of the season.
Just one kind of final question around this line. I know Mo Fall signed on a season loan. Have you had any assurances from West Brom that he won't be called back, that you're going to keep him for the entire season with how well he's done?
No, we haven't, is the answer to that. We haven't had any assurances, but all the loan players that we have, there's agreements in there, both party agreements, and look, it's in West Brom's right to call Mo back inside a period. I think it's between the 2nd and 14th of January, similar to Hull, similar to Wolves, and similar to Sheffield United and Louis Marsh. So we hope, particularly I would say Tom Nixon and Mo, because they've played a lot of games. Obviously Tyler's probably not as featured as much as he'd like, but particularly them two, I'm hoping that Hull and West Brom can see that the two boys are developing all the time. They're playing week in, week out, and hopefully we can keep them till the end of the season.
Tom Anderson set to make his 200th appearance for the club this weekend. Just how big a servant has he been for the club over the last nearly 6 years?
Yeah, he's a top professional, Tom. And when I first come to the football club 4 or 5 years ago, the first time I was here, you could see just the way he trains, the way he goes about his business. He's just a proper man, proper man, proper leader. He's obviously had his fair share of injuries and knocks and setbacks over the years as well, but we feel like he's in a good place. He's strong. He's looking stronger all the time. So yeah, he's been a tremendous servant to the club. I know Tom would love a promotion. I don't think he's had a promotion since he's been here. He's had the relegation and things like that, and we were very close the first time, but I know that burns deep in him, that he would like to try and be successful and have a successful season at this football club. So I'm sure that will happen. If it's not this year, hopefully it'll be next year for him.
I remember talking to him earlier this season about kind of some of the adversity that he's had and the kind of mental resilience that he's developed. I mean, from a character perspective, he already brought the leadership side, but, has that adversity that he's come through really improved him as a person, and is he the kind of person that you're really going to need over the next few months?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he typifies everything you want when you're coaching and you're putting plans in place, because he can take criticism, and he takes it in the right way, constructive criticism, and he can also rally the group and the troops around him as well. So yeah, he's a lovable guy, Tom. He's a top player as well. The boys really respect him. Very, very coachable, and he's a modern day proper leader. And it's great to work with him.
How much are you hoping the weather conditions against Morecambe are a little better than you experienced at Accrington?
Yeah, well, we're hoping so. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad, I don't think. It's quite calm today. So it was a difficult afternoon. I don't think it was a game will go down the memory bank for many. I certainly didn't enjoy watching it. I know John Coleman certainly didn't enjoy watching it. It was just one of those days where we had to grind and dig in and roll our sleeves up and making sure that we didn't concede. I didn't feel like we were going to score, but I certainly didn't feel like we were going to concede either. So it was one of them games where we could probably park, we can respect the point away from home at Accrington, a team that's beaten Wrexham there and went and beat Lincoln the other night in the Bristol Street Motors, a team above them. So look, at the end of the day, it's a decent point for us, and now we need to back it up with some home wins.
Yeah, Morecambe, a really interesting club both on and off the pitch at the minute. They had a difficult spell. They've since rallied with a couple of decent results in League and Cup. What do you make of them and what they're going to bring this weekend?
Well, I think they've got a centre forward that can score goals at any given moment. Really strong. They're obviously a team that's come down from League One last season. Lost their manager halfway through the season. Again, a team that's gone and drew with Stockport in their last game at home, and watching the game back, done well in the game to get the point. So every game in this league, Adam, I think that they're all different in many ways, but they're all tough. So we don't approach the game any differently. We know over recent weeks we've been really good at home, but that doesn't mean that we're just going to roll up and beat Morecambe. We have to work very, very hard. And making sure we get our plan right to give them a good game.
It's fairly unusual to see board members criticising owners. I mean, Jed Brandon's only just come in. Do you feel for him? Because it must be quite difficult kind of taking the reins yourself, but also having to deal with stuff off the field, is that something you've experienced?
I think I've experienced everything in management that you could possibly experience, and from promotions to relegations to just missing out to administration to all sorts. So it's I've experienced quite a lot in a short space of time. So I understand. Yep, understand these things. They're sent to test you. You've got to be strong and resilient with it, and just obviously trust in what you believe in. So for us, we want to try and focus on ourselves. I don't know what's going on at Morecambe really personally, and I haven't looked too deep into it. I'm just trying to focus on my own team.
You mentioned the home form. I mean, it's 5 unbeaten in all competitions. It seems you've got some real momentum going. That I imagine it'd be great if you could keep that going.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to, like I've mentioned before, we want to be more consistent. Because I know we can beat anybody in this division, but I also know that we can get beat by anybody in this division if we're not at it. I think it's important that we try and put a decent run together at some point. And when I say a run of 3, 4, 5 wins on the bounce, because we know that what that can do to you, and how quickly that can move you up this division. So that's the aim, but that comes from what we do Monday to Friday. That comes from the consistency in our work and our training, making sure the players are doing all they can to maximise their own personal potential. So we're working all the time and working very hard behind the scenes on that.
Brilliant. Cheers, Graham.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers.